effective tattoo artist. Just doesn't work.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you about the sort of the tattoo scene when you arrived and what it was like up until the time that you retired in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area. I think there were 3 people. It was Lyle Tuttle and Davy Jones in Oakland. Well, he had also been in San Francisco. And me. Excuse me. I don't really think there were many others at all.
Was there much connection or contact between the among the 3 of you?
No, no contact at all. Can you turn that off for a moment? Of water?
No, thank you, Phil. I'm moving it, John. I think that I just soon.
Well, yeah.
For a period of time, then Lyle Tuttle was in San Francisco by himself.
Yes.
And you were here, and Davy Jones
was also here in Oakland.
Where was he?
He was over around Webster, I think.
Okay, I think there was
Franklin or Webster.
Right. Okay. Did you have the opportunity to speak of to put on larger size body pieces?
Very seldom. Very seldom. There was one sailor who was going to, who was in reserve by then. He'd been in the Navy. And he was rather attracted to the design that Dietzel had put on me, which I had designed in Chicago. It's a garland of flowers coming to points up here. Solid flowers, big rose in the middle. And he wanted me to do a similar one on him, which I did, and then he got the same thing on his back. But usually I didn't find that anybody in those years was particularly desiring great body work. 1 or 2 people, yes, there were, but not many.
Was there a lot of interest in color?
Yes, but not like as they are today.
Yeah.
It was just the beginning then.
Did you retire to continue to write?
Not exactly. I was strong-armed by our black brothers 3 times in my shop in Oakland, in that neighborhood. And I thought, well, the 4th time, knife or a bullet. I've been lucky so far. Just lost my wallet and the TV and so on. So I shut the shop, got out, stopped it entirely, and started to write a little more copiously.
So since then you have not actually practiced in your home or traveled, or you put the machine away and you...
It was kind of hard to do that.
Do you miss it at all?
Oh yes, I did, especially in the first years of doing without it. I missed it a great deal.
If someone presented you with an opportunity, would you consider...
Well, no, I'm too old, for God's sake. I couldn't go back. I couldn't stand the strain of it.
Well, I certainly wouldn't, not suggesting full time, but if somebody asked you for a memento or...
Oh yeah, 2 or 3 people have, and I've done that. I went over to Cliff Raven's shop when he was up here in this area once and put something on a guy named John Preston, who's a New York writer. And he wanted a quill pen and ink bottle. So I did that, and I've done a few small things. But my material itself is dispersed. I haven't got the equipment to power pack, and I've got a lot of old needles around, which I suppose I should give to somebody. I don't think Ed has any need of them, though, certainly. And I gave some of my templates, the stencils, to a fellow in Sacramento some years ago. Forgotten his name.
Well, I'm sure that Chuck Eldridge would, if you were wanting to disperse it, would take anything you have for the archives, because he's got quite a nice collection of things. Well, I was thinking of Paul Rogers. Did you ever meet Paul Rogers?
No, but I had dealings with him by mail.
And I think that he's still active, at least in making his machines.
Does he still make them?
He still makes them. Yeah.
I have got so far out of touch, though. I get 2 or 3 little newsletters, 1 or 2 little newsletters. There aren't many coming around. But this one called the Illustrated Man, I get that once in a while.
Are you a member of the National Flows organization?
I was for a while, but that's lapsed too.
So you don't normally go to the conventions?
No. No, I don't travel much anymore, really. A fear of flying has come over me. I've made 22 round trips to Europe. I went steadily from 1950 until 1972. And then all of a sudden a fear of flying came on me, and I haven't flown since.
Going back to your research connected to Kinsey, what were some of the reasons why people do get tattoos?
Well, you come at me like that and I can't think of any. I suppose the most heavily weighted one was an assertion of masculine status. And then there were a lot of things like possession. Boy would get a girl and he would want his name plastered on her or put down again in her pubic region to indicate that this belonged to him. And then there were all kinds of crypto-homosexual motivations. Such, my uncle had a tattoo like this and I want one just the same because I liked my uncle. And my best buddy in the Navy had one, and so on. You had 5 or 6 variations of the crypto-homosexual or the latent male bonding. After it was finished and bandaged, he asked if there were a head in the place. I told him where the toilet was, and he went back to it. He was gone a little too long to urinate and not long enough for something more weighty. Moreover, when he came back, waved goodbye, and left, I was struck by one curious thing. I had not heard the toilet flush. I went back to investigate. The sailor had masturbated and spread the still steaming ejaculate all over the cold cement floor. Oh, that fascinated Kinsey, of course.
Regarding that, I've heard tell of clients who come in and have suggest to the tattoo artists that they leave out the ink.
Oh, yes, that's a dry run. When that was first pulled on me, I fell for it completely, I thought, well, he wants to experience what it feels like, so I'll do it. And I did, and about the second customer that came in for that, I began to notice that there were certain signs of tumescence, And so then I tumbled. I found out what I was doing. And the next one that came in and wanted a dry run to see what it felt like, I said, yes, I'll be happy to do it for $10. And that stopped it fairly quickly, right there and then.
So that is a part of the business.
Yeah, there are masochists who get tattooed. You can always tell by the genuine masochist will sometimes have a spontaneous ejaculation while he's being tattooed. And however, if he faints, it's not. He's not a masochist. You easily tell.
Did you have some customers who the pain was so intense
yes,
that they would faint?
Yes, of course, and it was catching, because the place was full of sailors on a Saturday morning, and the first one fainted. the next 5 were bound to faint. You know, you just thought, oh my God, here's a bad Saturday. And everyone, well, I had a bench made, a Trendelenburg bench in the slanted position with the head down. And if someone fainted first, I would get out the bench and put the next one down on it, because I knew he would also faint unless he was in the Trendelenburg position. And the bench saved me a lot of trouble when I finally found out that that would work. But you could tell that, you could always tell, they suddenly became quiet, the skin became clammy. You looked then at the face, and it was perspiring and white. So down, and you would push his head down between his knees and with pressure on the back of his neck until he recovered. My God, the angels who got that way were the subject of much laughter from their friends, colleagues standing around. And they thought it was a disgrace, of course, for them to faint. But a lot of them did. And once in a while, someone would vomit. And one poor sailor who came in his whites one summer day became incontinent and peed his pants and simply had to turn around and go back to the base on Saturday, his first liberty. I felt sorry for him, but what the hell could you do? You couldn't really give him another set of whites that you had on hand.
Between the sailors and the Hells Angels and goodness knows who else in between, you've seen a bit of humanity.
Oh, yes. I had more fun during the 18 years I was tattooing, more fun and pleasure than at any other period of my life. It was really a high point, and I did enjoy it a lot.
You were maintaining your journal for Kinsey or for your own research?
I did that for, well, I went on for 2 years after he died until 1958, and then I stopped it because it had become largely repetitive. I wasn't finding anything new about motivations. So it's, as I say, in the archives there at Indiana University, and I don't know whether they'll ever make use of it or not. Kinsey was very fascinated with the topic, and it's too bad he died before he got to handle the material.
How did you go about, you just talked to the people as you tattooed them?
Yes, I wasn't trained as a psychologist, but I knew, I had read enough in Freud and the other pioneers of psychology and psychiatry to know what was going on. So I would ask them leading questions and get them to talk and listen, and then their motivations were clear enough, you know, after they, for instance, the existentialists who thought that this was a forever act. You know, once done, it's done. You can't change it, it's there forever. If they expressed that, why, fine, I got it down. And then the person who came in and said, my friend Bob has got 18 tattoos, and I've got 17. I got to have another one. There's a rivalry, even maybe sexual rivalry. You could perceive those things without much difficulty at all. And I wrote a long book about it once, Tattoo Jungle, I called it. And unfortunately, it was too advanced for the year in which I finished it. And nowadays, it would be too tame for any publisher to consider. So I would have to rewrite it, and I swear I just don't have the impetus necessary to rewrite that 300-page manuscript. I've got a copy of it, but I think I'll send it to Boston University. They startled me some time ago by sending me a letter requesting that they be my archive holders. And so I said, yes. I've sent them 7 or 8 boxes already, about 30 pounds of crap, and correspondence, you know, and manuscripts and galleys and things like that. So I suppose they'll do the final things and get what they want.
tattooing, homosexual tattooing, is that, are the motives primarily the same as heterosexuals?
Yes, yeah, sure. There it becomes also a matter of I saw it on so-and-so and I would like to have one like it. Or, no, there is no real difference. But for Kinsey, I kept account of the overt homosexuals that got tattooed. And I remember in the first 50,000 tattoos, I had only about 24 overt homosexuals getting tattooed. Because in those days, before the SM movement took hold, there was no, they were reluctant to spoil the pretty pink bodies, you know, or else I heard that many times from homosexuals who came into the shop, or one of them said, "Oh, I'm so flighty that if I got a tattoo, I wouldn't like the design a week after, and I'd want to change." So a lot of reasons surfaced like that.
Did you have an occasion that you know of that you tattooed any lesbians?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, several in Chicago, and a few out here in Oakland. Yes. Well, they would come in together, a couple of girls, and have hearts intertwined with name banners or something like that. Not very imaginative. Or maybe a little trail of flowers on the breast, you know.
How do you think it's changed, the business and the art?
Oh, I think the art has improved to at least 200%. And it's got a lot more original and beautiful, and depending on the abilities of the artist, I think Ed Hardy is superb. Others who they have certain flaws or faults that I have seen. One of the runners-up to Ed Hardy in talent is a failure on anatomy of the human figure. The women are awkward, the men are awkward that he draws on people, and not quite right, you know. So sometimes one's art abilities are a drawback.
Are you familiar with Cliff Raven's contemporary work?
I haven't seen much of Cliff's for the past several years. I saw quite a bit of it while I was, of course, having my Oakland shop open. But since then, I've seen very little. A few people have stopped by, and
I've been told by some, and I don't know that I'm familiar with his work in sight. But some think that he's every bit as good a technician, craftsman with the technique as Ed. Do you have an opinion?
I really don't. I haven't seen enough of Cliff's work nowadays to make any kind of statement about that. I know he was very good the last I saw of it, and I was almost as proud of him as I was of my helping Ed to get started. But one thing about Ed is, you know, when you make a reputation such as he has, most people would tend to be self-congratulatory on it. And I was surprised at that meeting the other day to hear that he had given me full credit all along, and I thought it was very generous of him, and I've always liked him. That increased my liking even more.
Actually, he is very, very complimentary and very open with his praise.
Well, of course, that's very nice to hear, yeah.
What advice
But it's a
would you...
pure case of students surpassing the master. I mean, My God, I couldn't do the kind of work nowadays that he's doing. No way. Excuse me.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you would have advice for some young person, male or female, starting out in the business.
No, I wouldn't really. Except be hard and be careful. It's a cutthroat business, really, or it used to be. Now, I don't know. Maybe today everything is lovey-dovey. Maybe tattoo artists throw their arms around each other's necks and weep for Zion and say, we're all in this together. I don't think they do. I think it's just as cutthroat and backstabbing as it was when I was in it. And boy, it was a tough racket in Chicago, I'll tell you, with 11 tattoo artists up the way to Van Buren Street and myself the 12th one down the row. It was cutthroat. It was a killer business.
Is it true that the mafia control the other shops along the way?
Yeah. There was one shop fell vacant up closer to Van Buren. I was fiercely independent. I would have nothing to do with it. I just said I don't make enough money. I'm clear down at the bottom end here. And once upon a time that shop fell vacant up there. It had a curved window, 2 curved plate glass windows that went in, you know. And I thought of moving up there, which was about position number 3 or 2. And one slickly dressed young man came in one day with a black shirt and a white tie. And he said, "You got a nice looking shop down here." And I said, "Yeah, I try to keep it good looking." And he said, "Good thing you don't have any curved plate glass windows, though. They're easy to break and they're costly, aren't they?" And I said, "Yes, they would be very expensive, I imagine." And I dropped the idea right then of moving up to the other place, because he'd heard somehow that I had been considering it. And this was a little warning that I took to heart. Because who am I to... Of course, in the university I had, as a student, a son of one of the 4 Doms in Chicago. The 4 Doms were the kingpins. Never saw their name in the papers. Instead, you would see Tony Arcardo and the other flashy ones who were all 2nd and 3rd rate in Cosa Nostra. But the 4 Doms were up there. You never saw any publicity about them. He was the son of one of them, one of the 4 Doms. He became a lawyer for the mafia. I could have called on him because he had been my student. We knew each other pretty well. But I didn't.
You got any great tattoo stories that you want to tell?
No, I guess not. Oh, I've got so many that I wouldn't know which one to choose, really. I suppose that's the answer. I did manage to get a tattoo on the King of Denmark, the much tattooed one before he died. He visited Chicago. And this great burly figure came into my shop one evening, all unattended, alone, in a business suit, without his crown. And I recognized him from his picture. I pretended I didn't know him, and he didn't identify himself, but he picked out a little tattoo, and I put it on, quivering a little. Oh, there's some other stories. The head of Norelco, Neil Luxon, was that his name? He's dead now. A Standard Oil president. A few big names.
Tattooing was severely stigmatized when you started.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And generally speaking, that apparently is beginning to change.
Yes, I think so. Although there were optimists who even in my day said, oh, it's changing now. But it wasn't then. It was very stigmatized.
You got anything that you think that Phil should tell us?
Well, I'm curious. You've surely heard that some people say, oh, when you die, your life flashes before your eyes, or snippets of your life flash before your eyes. Or, if that were to happen to you, what would be your suspicion right now as to if one client out of all the people that you tattooed were to jump up into your mind's eye the moment you died, who and why would that be? Who it might be? What comes to mind?
No, I'm sorry. The only thing that did jump up was one boy with such beautiful skin that I refused to tattoo it. There is a particular type of skin which is very white, very firm, and not plump, but rather hard to the touch. And it takes the color better than any other skin in the world. It's the kind of skin that a tattoo artist just loves to get his needle into. And it was this on that boy, and he was a good-looking kid, and he wasn't too smart. And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't tattoo you. And I couldn't, really. I couldn't just spoil that skin. It was too much. I don't know whether that makes me a patsy or what, but couldn't do it.
Perhaps a purist.
No, whatever.
Good. That Ed had told me, he started out being Don Hardy in art school, and he uses, apparently he used his...
I'm sorry, that's...
Better, huh?
You have to go to the sink or something?
I can't. Well, right now it's just a matter of maneuvering before I can open it, and then I can answer that question. Usually this happens outside in the dust.
Oh, fine. You get it out or in?
Well, at least look through it now. I think it's still, whatever it is floating around. Oh, there it goes. The quick solution to this really isn't pulling it out. It's tearing. God, we're rolling. I'm okay now.
Benzalkonium chloride, which is a wetting agent, if that'll help you any.
No, I was going to ask you if you had encouraged Don Hardy to take another name as a tattoo artist.
Well, no, I didn't particularly. We did talk about the advantages and disadvantages of another name, in case ever he wanted to run for president or something like that. But I think he decided not to, or
well, I
maybe
think that
he has.
I think that he may have even started out with Ed Talbot.
Oh, I do believe, yes. He told me that, yes. I do, now I remember.
And he finally dropped the Talbot and went to the Hardy, and then since then it's been a combination of D.E. Hardy or Don Hardy or Ed Hardy.
Yeah. I never knew exactly which was his right name, or does he, both of them?
Well, they're all, I think that his full name is probably Donald Edward Talbot Hardy.
Oh, I see.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific, thank you.
Oriental and so on. They're not really, though.
Well, let me shoot 3 or 4 of them.
There was no tattooing until about 15 years ago in France, except prison tattooing. Here's an American.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.